Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Peter here. Today's video is from Commodity. It's called the Black Collection. I've already reviewed the White and the Platinum Collection previously. A link will be in the description if you missed that one, which were more aimed towards feminine kind of more fragrances. This is more masculine kind of fragrances. So we're going to cover through these. These were sent to me for review because Commodity has recently kind of based itself also in the UK, because originally they're from the US. They're now available in the UK, so they sent me a couple of things. So I'm going to go through each of them as a first impression, and later on I will do kind of more detailed reviews about how long they last and my my full thoughts on them. You can also suggest to me which you'd like me to review sooner than later. They also sent me Storybook, which is a small collection of all the fragrances. If you want to try Commodity, I would recommend probably buying this set, the Storybook collection, because you have everything from all three collections. I think it's a good idea. They also encourage you to layer them, so you can pair them up with each other and create a unique fragrance out of multiple different ones, which is a nice idea. I like that. They actually were extremely generous. They gave me some bars of soap. I've actually been using one of them. They sent me two. I've been using the Oris, and it smells literally exactly like the perfume. It's huge. It lathers up really well. It's a nice bar of soap. I have been using it. This is the brand new one, Tonka. As you can see, it's a pretty ginormous, huge bar. It lathers up really well on your face. I've been using it. I think it's really nice. And they smell just like the fragrance. So if you like scented soap, I would be happy to recommend trying these. I think they're pretty good. So thank you very much to Commodity for being so generous to me. So now we are going to go through the Black Collection, starting from the top, working our way down. So as well as the Storybook, they also sent me 5ml travel sprays of each, which is, again, very generous. I actually do quite like the presentation. It's very minimalist, but very smart. The text is actually raised, so you can feel the, the embossed text there. It's very nice. This is almost like a kind of a rubbery kind of feel. It's an unusual. It doesn't feel like paper. It's almost like rubber. So, but yeah, we'll start with book. So I have the card here. We're just going to read the notes or the description for you. Book. Tips a hat to the Hemingways and Fitzgerald of the world, transporting you away to a world of imagination and story, while capturing the quiet moment when you're curled up with a good book. So, like I say, these are very minimalist scents. This does a pretty good job of smelling like paper, like a book. It smells like an old book. There is a slight sweetness there, but there's a definite kind of dusty old page book, reminiscent a little bit of something like Memoirs of a Trespasser by imaginary authors, which I also kind of get that old pages of a book, although that one is based more around vanilla. This isn't as sweet, but it definitely has the same kind of a vibe of pages of a book. So although it's very minimalist and simplistic, it's pleasant, it's nice if you, this is a very specific taste, but it's nice, it's very smooth. It does definitely smell like the pages of a book, so there's not really too much to describe to you with this one. I can see it being a good layerer or a base to layer with something else. If you wanted to make something a little bit more complicated or a little bit richer, you could pair this up with another one from the same collection. The next one on the list is Whisky, a timeless indulgence filled with flavour and rich warmth of the American oak. Mahogany, smooth, comforting, puts you instantly at ease, relaxed and at peace. And the key notes are sage, American oak and mahogany. So this one is a little bit aromatic, it's a little sweet. It's obviously woody. To me, it doesn't smell like whiskey as in the whiskey I know, like single malt whiskey. I don't know what, really American kind of whiskey smells like. I'm only familiar with the smell of single malt Scottish whiskey. So to me, this doesn't smell like whiskey, like the name would suggest. But I do get the idea of a booziness that's reminiscent of something like CH Man Privé, by Carolina Herrera. To me, that one also did not smell of whiskey. This one has the same kind of nuance where I can get what people are saying, but just to my nose it doesn't smell at all like whiskey, but it does have a similar kind of aspect that CH Man has. So if you like that one, I would imagine you would like this as well. There is, you know, it's kind of aromatic, it's sweet. I guess you have this kind of slightly booziness to me that doesn't smell of whiskey, like I say, but I guess maybe more American whiskey, I'm not sure. I think what comes through a little bit is the sage, which kind of makes it a little bit aromatic, and you definitely get the woodiness, like the mahogany and the oak. I think it does a good job of smelling like an oak barrel or some kind of dark wood, with this underlining kind of sweetness that I guess you could say is a boozy sweetness, which maybe is the idea of the whiskey there. I think personally this would work well layering it with moss from the same collection, just to add a little bit of extra character there. If you're interested in layering, that's one combination I would suggest. So to me it doesn't smell like whiskey, so if you're looking for, you know, a realistic whiskey note, I don't think that's it, but it is definitely a nice scent. It has more of a mass appeal to it. It's slightly sweet, it's slightly aromatic, it's definitely a woody scent, and it does have kind of a syrupy kind of sweetness that I guess you would say is kind of boozy, reminiscent along the lines of CH Privé or something like that. Next on the list is wool. So the description for wool reads: a warmth and perfectly cozy outerwear like cashmere sweater, a pure indulgence of soft textures yet deep and sensual to the skin. Notes of amber, vetiver and bourbon vanilla. This is very minimalist but really nice. I like this one. It's kind of light and airy and almost refreshing, like there's maybe some little hint of citrus or floral in the opening that's quite fresh. I like this. This is again more wide appealing, I think. It is very light. It's not a fragrance that's strong and dominating. This is a very close, personal, soft kind of fragrance. If you like your stronger projecting fragrances, I don't think you'll get that from this. It's definitely lighter. But to be honest, I smell a lot from Maison Francis Kurkdjian that's very light, like washed cloves, or, you know, very clean, fresh, work appropriate fragrances. This reminds me of something like that, like an Aqua Universalis or something. It does definitely have that kind of genre or feeling to the vibe that it's going for. Very easy to wear, very light, very non-offensive. You could wear it pretty much all year round to any kind of occasion. Very versatile. Does have a vibe of kind of a thick woolly jumper in the winter, like being cozy and warm by a fire or something. It is very soft and cozy and kind of relaxing. Yeah, it's a comforting, very easy to wear, casual kind of scent. I wouldn't say that's particularly aimed at kind of frag heads, like really people that are really keen on, you know, fragrances. We tend to like things that are a bit more complex, but for the kind of the average nose, ones that aren't, you know, dissecting the notes and really, you know, into fragrance, it's very pleasant, very easy to wear. But it is very minimalist, so you need to appreciate minimalist fragrances. Next on the list is moss. With this one it says: a crisp aroma that nature would be proud of. Fresh, green, earthy, a walk in the woods at dawn. Wet, cool, clean and reviving. Notes of oak moss, cedarwood and petitgrain. So on the top I get a little bit of the petitgrain. So you have this kind of green, slightly fresh, uplifting, slightly citrusy kind of peel smell. You definitely get the soft greenness of the oak moss, but the petitgrain is definitely the notes that you smell the most. It comes through quite clearly as the petitgrain. Almost like a green kind of waxy leaf with this citrusy kind of notes over the top. Smelling it from paper as a first impression, the cedarwood doesn't come through yet, but I would imagine that comes up more in the base of the fragrance. But you do get the petitgrain and the kind of the soft green element of the moss. Again, very minimalist, very easy to wear, very work appropriate, very safe. I can't see many people disliking the fragrance. You might not fall in love with it if you like overly complex scents, but if you like minimalist compositions that are just easy to wear, you can pick it up, spray it and go to work, then this is, I think, is probably one of the best from this particular collection. It's very nice, very appropriate for most occasions, and just it's minimalist, but it's done in a nice way. The description of it being crisp and fresh and green and reviving, I think, is a good description. It does all of those things, and I think this is the best probably for layering. Like I say, you could layer this with whiskey, for example, and make something quite nice. Last on the list is Gin, which reads, inspired by lavish night out and endless possibilities. Gin is a rare blend of juniper berry, lime, ginger leaf distilled with utter finesse. Gin is a fresh and woodsy scent that is loved by both women and men. Notes of juniper berry, lime and ginger leaf. So juniper berry is actually a note that I quite enjoy. An example is Bottega Veneta. I think is one of the best smelling designer fragrances that I've tried in a long time. Let down by quite poor performance, but it uses a note of juniper berry. So gin. So the first impression immediately is the lime and the ginger. It's quite nice, it's refreshing, it's almost zingy, and ginger is kind of a spicy kind of, as well as it having this freshness and brightness, it also has kind of a kick and a spice behind it. This is definitely ginger and lime together. It was really nice and refreshing. The juniper berry is more subtle, but I definitely get that vibe behind that. But in the first opening, it's definitely about the ginger and the lime. I actually really like the opening of that. It's pretty nice. As it sits a little bit on the paper, you do get the kind of the greenness and slight spiciness of the juniper berry. Depending how you feel on the note of lime, it could remind you of a cleaning product, because you know a lot of cleaning products use lemon and lime as notes, so we often have that familiarity, or we remember them when we smell those notes in perfume. So depending how you pick that out, you might be reminded of some, you know, like a floor cleaning product or something. But to me it smells quite nice. I like the mix of notes there is quite refreshing. Again, one I think would work well if you were to mix it with the moss. This to me smells more like a classical cologne. It smells more mature, it smells like an older, more professional man working in an office. It's got a little bit more age and sophistication and kind of grown-upness about it. I don't see a teenager wearing this fragrance. It's definitely more mature and classic in its style. That's my first impression of the Black collection. If you have a favourite from this line, let me know your thoughts in the description of what you like, if you like them. And let me know which you'd like me to review in full first, and I'll delve into them properly and tell you how they develop and change and how long they last. Those will be coming later on. Take care, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again next time with another review. Bye bye.